Okay, it seems like every month there's word going around that TNA is going to be out of business. So I occasionally get, the emails and the comments of, I don't talk about TNA. I watch them very, very infrequently. The problem is since they tape so many things in advance, it really hinders their ability to do pay-per-views. And a lot of what they do is some pretty good in-ring work from some people. But they kind of have almost the opposite of the WWE, where the E can put a decent storyline together, and the match might be okay. On the other side, for TNA, you've got normally very good in-ring work with stories that are normally poor, production values that are poor. And if you're really a true diehard wrestling fan, you're probably tuning in more to Ring of Honor than you are TNA or Lucha Underground. So I'm looking through their current roster that they have. This is on the TNA Impact Wrestling website, September 27th, 2015. I can tell they haven't updated it. It's still a Bully Ray, who is challenging for the tag belts in WWE. So we're going to go through this pretty quickly. I will show you by the production itself. I think a six-sided ring and some of their concepts like Lethal Lockdown, the Asylum match, they've got some pretty unique match concepts. Oh God, nothing on a pole. No. Probably not King of the Mountain. I think that's still a bit too difficult of a match concept to really truly easily port over to the E. The tape library? Of course. If they can get a hold of that tape library, that would be amazing to have their collection of their single shot pay-per-views that they used to do once a week and everything else they've got. If they can get a hold of that tape library, that is worth some money. If anything else, there's a lot of really great wrestling in there. You can take some of that, you can make really great compilations from that, use some of the WCW stuff. I mean, you could do some phenomenal pieces on someone like Kurt Angle, where you could take all the work he did in the E, and then pretty much about a decade? Pretty close to a decade of his time in TNA. Ironically, he spent more wrestling time, I think, in TNA than WWE, but he still called it WWE. But anyways, let's go right through this. They've got their roster as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6, sort of, yeah, so I have 48 people. All right. I shouldn't go too quick. I'm going to give people either a yes or a no. And if they're a no, quick reason why. If they're a yes, quick reason why. Abyss. I think Abyss would work pretty well in a couple of dream feuds. I think he would be interesting to see how he would work either with Kane or against Kane. Do not bring him in as another sibling from Kane and The Undertaker. Unless, only unless, the Wyatt family is still a three-person group, at which point that could be interesting. Or when Rowan comes back, you put Rowan and Abyss together. If you want to, they can team up with Kane or feud with Kane. He's got enough uniqueness to him that I could see him working pretty well. But I see him predominantly working with people who like Bray Wyatt, Kane, Miz, Big Show, because he's got to work with Big Show. I think there's enough uniqueness that I could see him getting at least a couple years out of him. Angelina Love, she's good in the ring. They will have to definitely tone down her character, but I could see her working for a brief time in the women's division. Austin Aries, yes. Awesome Kong, yes. Have Kong show back up and have her absolutely destroy the Bellas, perfect. Bobby Roode, yep. Truly a diamond in the rough. That guy in the E is one of the people who could really easily make some money. Bram, domestic violence charges, sorry, you're a no. Brooke Tessmacher, formerly from Extreme Expose, has actually become a pretty accomplished in-ring wrestler. She could have some really good feuds with someone like Nikki Bella. They have a similar enough look, similar enough kind of overall style and presentation, but she's definitely a babyface. It works well as a babyface. Bully Ray, we've already got him. Chris Melendez. If E knew what to do with anybody who was Hispanic, I'd probably say yes, but they're not really good with that. And Christy Hemme, backstage, she'd be interesting when it comes. Jeez, that sounds horrible. She'd be interesting when it comes from an interviewing standpoint. Crazy Steve, no, we don't need an updated psychotic clown. D'Angelo De Niro, I think he's got some great skill to him. I would probably have him be one of the higher up individuals that I have in like NXT. I think he could teach people some interesting in-ring capabilities. He does have a more diverse background. I could maybe see him getting a bit of a run on the main roster, but I think he's probably going to tap out at mid-card. Davey Richards, Eddie Edwards, yes. Tag team needed. DJZ, Zema Aya, man, I almost could swear I've seen him in NXT. Drew Galloway, former Chosen One, yes. I think that guy has got some great upside. He's got the height that Vince wants. Have him pack on another maybe 15, 20 pounds of muscle on it. Bring him back with his old stablemates, Sheamus and Wade Barrett. Boom, run with it. Eli Drake, not so much. Eric Young, or as his picture looks, he looks kind of like the TNA version of Daniel Bryan. He can do Goofy, which will be the death of him in WWE because he would become a new Santino Marella. If he tries to keep the beard, people will just chant, "You're not Bryan." So I don't think he's going to make it. Ethan Carter III. I want to say he was Ricky Ortiz during his time in WWE CW. As much as people go, man, if he'd still been in the E, he'd be nobody. He became someone down at TNA because he was fired by the E. That anger makes for a great character. Don't believe me? Stunning Steve Austin, fired from WCW, goes to ECW, begins to develop a Stone Cold personality, gets the ability to use it a little bit on the WWF at the time, boom, money, done. Ethan Carter III, same thing. I think if you bring somebody like him in, he's got the you want to see him get the crap beat out of him qualities of the Miz, but he works better in the ring. So he's a definite. Gail Kim. Yeah, she's burned lots of bridges. Still great in the ring. I could see her being a good trainer down in NXT. Jade. She's done some better work in Japan than she's really done here. I think that there's a lot of stuff going on with the women's division, or the Knockouts division, that kind of works, kind of doesn't work. Her current gimmick would not work at all in the E. James Storm. I loved AMW. I loved Beer Money. His current pseudo Bray Wyatt-esque sort of cult leader character, no. If we're looking a couple years ago, yes, he would be a definite. I think now he's just a little bit too far, so I'd probably say he's probably a no. Good in ring hand, I think it'd be nice to do the occasional training bit here and there, or do the occasional, almost like a Rhino sort of run in NXT. But I don't see him making his way to the main roster. The Hardy Boys, sure. Name recognition, pop the tag division. Jeremy Borish, no, you can do your YouTube shoots. The bromance tag team, you're a no. Sorry. Kenny King, if they had a cruiserweight division, or they had more of a lightweight division, he would be great. I don't picture a great spot for him, and I think he plays some great matches with Kofi Kingston. I think he's got a really good, exciting moveset, nice high-flying abilities, but there really is no spot for him in the E. King Mo, pass. Kurt Angle, Man, with how many neck surgeries he's had, he needs to take some serious time off. I think if he were to take a few months off, maybe a year, get his body all right, I think he could do a really great run in the E. At the rate he's currently going, he is running on some undeniably borrowed time. Lashley. Dude had everything Vince would want in a wrestler. Big dude, bulky guy, just looked like he was chiseled out of stone. One person once called him Black Lesnar. And I was like, Lashley and Lesnar could put on some pretty interesting matches. However, Lashley needs a mouthpiece. He'd be a phenomenal enforcer character. And of course, he's got some bad blood with well, I'll say it's his wife, Crystal now, who is one of the reasons why he left the E in the first place. Madison Rayne. Good hand, works well in the women's division, would be a really tremendous boon in a place like NXT. Magnus, big dude, kind of, man. Mandrews, Manic, Marty Bell, good, unique look. If the E knew how to use divas with unique looks, she could be a great addition. But the E doesn't. They like a very, very vanilla template. You want them to stand out enough, but that's pretty much why their hair colors are different. I think she'd have a very unique standout presence. She would work very well with in a stable with someone like a Tamina, like a Naomi. Or you have her be a face. And you could bring her in and have her have, like Natalya, be the person who really kind of help train her. There's a lot of great story potential with a character like that, but the E doesn't quite know how to use a lot of women who have very vastly different looks. Micah, well, again, there's potential, but I have a feeling that just basis his look, they would make him a Muhammad Hassan sort of character, and I think that ends being a no. Mickie James? Yes. There's your trainer in NXT. There's if you want to do a stable towards WrestleMania time where you have people like Victoria, Mickie James, Trish if she wants to come back, or Lita come back for a match, and you have them have this really great group to take on some of the current divas. Mike Tenay? I think Mike Tenay would work really well on the network and doing commentary. Tremendous knowledge of the business. Anderson. Yeah. Vince had strapped rockets to you to go to the moon, and it just did not happen for you. Either you got into trouble with the wrong people, in public, or backstage. MVP. The work that he did in Japan was amazing. I would love to see him have another run at the E. I think he's got great mic skills, marketable look, knows how to work in the ring. I think he would be great. They didn't want to do a Nation Domination sort of stable, but you bring someone like him in who can talk very well. You might as well pair him up with Lashley and De Niro. There you go. You've got your guy who can talk but can still go in the ring. You've got your absolute just physical monster powerhouse. You've got somebody who's definitely got a lot more in-ring skills. Toss Kenny King in there with him too if you want to throw him in for a little bit. And you could have a new version of Four Horsemen. Scroll down here a little bit. Robbie Eaton, no. Rockstar Spud. We've got one. It's called Heath Slater. Taryn Terrell. I think she's potentially looking towards retiring. Marketable look. The sort of look that Vince really goes for, but can work in the ring. So he would probably say no. Tiger Uno. Oh, dude in a mask that's got a nice amount of theatrics to him. I wish Vince understood what you do with people who wear masks. A mask is an easily marketable persona because you market the mask and the person underneath. That's why Mysterio made a lot of money. That's why Sin Cara should have made a lot of money. Tiger Uno moves well, great look. He could be your evil luchador. You need an evil luchador. Allow somebody like Kalisto and Ishikara, so that's how they pronounce them, to have somebody to go in so they could do that high-flying move set. They could do a luchador-style match with. Tyrus. We knew him as Brodus Clay. And then that's the Fungosaurus. And then Monstrous BC. He moves well. Great array of suplexes. He's the bigger version of Taz. But they made him dance. Oh, they made him dance. Great look. Fantastic when it comes to being an enforcer. There's a reason why it works seeing him and Ethan Carter III. If you bring him over as the enforcer, done. You got the guy who can talk trash, is good in the ring, but you've got to first get through that layer of muscle. Easy storyline, it works great. Velvet Sky, she's been on the older side for the Divas division. That's just how the Divas division kind of rolls. They have to tone her down a lot to get her to work in the more PG style of VE. But again, I can see her being interesting when it comes to the NXT side of things. You know, she could help go, here's some of the things, you know, have her use her knowledge. Have her really help work with some of the more younger talent. Have her work with like a Dana Brooke, with a Carmella. You know, have her work with the ones where there's enough good stock there when it comes to wrestling. They just need that little bit of extra edge to them. So, you know, from that standpoint, there are some marketable pieces within TNA. Like I said, they get the library. The library's fantastic. That's a brilliant library to get a hold of. You know, a lot of guys are definitely no. So they would show up in the East, they would become jobber fodder, and they would probably maybe make it through one spring or fall cleaning. Or since they don't do that now, so it looks bad from a publicity standpoint, they would probably just sit and get their downsides and then get released. But there are definitely some very, very marketable individuals within that group that could be used to a high amount of efficiency. The only problem is, if you look at the E's roster now and you go through it person by person, there's a tremendous amount of underutilized talent. So if they were to go under, I think a place like Ring of Honor does very well. New Japan does very well. Global Force Wrestling can pick up a lot of really interesting, good characters, good performers. And I think a few of them would be awesome to see in the second season of The Temple.